I'm just incredibly honored to have with us here today some of the people who really lived this story. And they've had the courage to share their stories over these past few years. In 2022, after keeping it a secret for 30 years, Michelle Houcks broke her silence about being raped by former Kansas City, Kansas Police Department Detective Roger Golubski. Her testimony and ongoing advocacy helped expose decades of corruption and abuse within that police department. Saundra Newsom is a lifelong Kansas City, Kansas resident and justice advocate whose son, Doniel Quinn, was murdered in an unsolved 1994 double homicide, which led to her confronting decades of corruption and abuse within the Kansas City Police Department. Niko Quinn is an advocate for victims of violence and police corruption. She is also a founder of the Spiritual Sister Circle, established in memory of her sister, Stacy Quinn, and other women who have suffered traumatic violence. She too has spent years fighting for truth and justice in Kansas City. Ophelia Williams is a justice advocate. As a survivor of police abuse and sexual assault in Kansas City, Kansas, Williams was one of the key voices who spoke out about Kansas City's decades of corruption and sexual violence. And we also have Quinn Templeton, their attorney. Quinn is a civil litigation attorney with extensive experience in civil rights litigation, from investigation through appeal at both the state and federal levels. His work includes multiple active exoneration cases and wrongful conviction lawsuits. Quinn will not be speaking during this panel. He is here for support. Don't be confused when I don't ask him any questions. So before we start, I want to take a moment and really try to translate and acknowledge the abject terror that the women in front of me have endured, the trauma that has been inflicted on them. What they've gone through is unimaginable, even to people in this room who are familiar with police cruelty and police brutality. What happened in Kansas City is an order of magnitude beyond most any story I've ever heard. And through that trauma and terror, these women have demonstrated a level of bravery that I could only describe as astounding. I'm not exaggerating when I say that word. It really feels astounding to me. And we only have an hour today, which is not enough time to tell all of the story here, but I really urge everyone in this room to, when they leave here, to really take some time with this story and then tell other people about it. Tell 10 or 20 or 50 or 5,000 other people about what happened in Kansas City, because there's still work to do and these women are still looking for a semblance of accountability. So Michelle, I'm gonna start with you. You encountered Golubski in the early 1990s. And were a victim of his sexual assault and rape. I want to be clear that I don't want to ask anybody on this panel to relive what happened to them, because it's hard enough to talk about any of this, but you have been dealing with this for 30 years.
Yes, I have.
And when we talked last, it was just a few weeks before Golubski's alleged suicide, before you were going to testify in court. I haven't talked to you since then. So can you tell me how it's been in these months since you thought you were going to have an opportunity to face him in court and that opportunity did not come to fruition?
Yes, I was actually kind of apprehensive about thinking what was really going to be the outcome of the trial because of the corruption that was actually going on in Kansas City, Kansas, and that is still going on in Kansas City, Kansas. So I thought I was going to actually get my day in court to tell my story in front of others, but we were cheated at that because the day that he actually was supposed to appear in court, which was December the 2nd, 2024, to go and pick his jury, they say that he committed suicide. To this day, we still have not heard anything about a funeral. We can't find an obituary. It's like they erased this man off the face of the earth. So we still didn't get no justice. We came out and told our story.
Take your time.
We came out and told our story. It's like they slapped us in the face because They just erased everything. No one talks to us anymore. And that's the justice that we got. And at one time, I was very suicidal. I even tried to kill myself. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. And I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm not gonna be quiet. We all want justice. We want someone, if they say he's gone, someone still needs to be held accountable for the things that we went through and the things that we still go through. I mean, when someone takes your innocence from you without you giving it away, it hurts. And that feeling will never go away. But some justice would help us all heal a lot more than not being heard. And I appreciate all y'all coming out to listen to our story, because y'all could have been anywhere else but y'all here. And I just want the world to change. It has to be changed, because just because we're poor, as that's how they look at us, and black and brown people matter. And if we start sticking together, we can get some change done. I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to speak out because of retaliation, but if it's not me, it could be one of y'all's family members. And I'm just saying, don't wait until it's someone that you love to get involved. I know it's hard to get involved, but it's me today, and it could be someone that you love tomorrow. And that's just how I feel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ophelia, we were talking earlier, I was remembering about the story you told. You also experienced sexual assault and abuse at the hand of Golubski, and in many ways, they've inflicted a lot of trauma on you, that department. And I was hoping you could, people say, why don't you report? Why didn't you tell anybody? When people say, why didn't you report? Or why didn't you tell anybody? And I think you in particular had a pretty chilling experience when you threatened to report. So can you tell about that?
Oh, hi, everybody. Can y'all hear me, first of all?
They can hear us fine, yes.
Okay. Well, like she said, my name is Ophelia Williams. I'm a survivor, rapist of Golubski, Roger Golubski. You know, how I met Roger Golubski.
It's okay. Take your time. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. He came over my house one morning with a search warrant to search my house. He said that my sons was involved with a murder, of 2 people. But he took down all 3 of my sons. They were 14 and 12. While they downtown, locked up, he comes back to my house a day or 2 later. I'm thinking he coming over to tell me something about my twins. But no, he decided that he wanted to rape me. And when he finished, I was like, I know he didn't just, do that to me. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to report this. He said, who you gonna tell? I said, I'm gonna call the police. And he said that he is the police, you know. Excuse me. And if I do say anything, you know, he can take me somewhere and kill me, and would nobody be able to find me, you know. And, you know, right today, I, like Michelle, we do need justice. We can't let them keep doing what they doing to our black women. When he came over that morning with the search warrant, he stayed in the living room. He talking about me, how I look, and how my 11-year-old daughter look. Talking about her legs and stuff. Said when she grow up, she gonna look like you know. But then, like I said, a couple of days later, he didn't come over for nothing but to rape me. He raped me, then he left. He came back a little while longer and did it again. You know, at the time I didn't have a boyfriend, but I had to go find me a boyfriend. So this man, this detective, to quit coming over my house. And so he did. But yeah, my sons went to jail at 14. They 40 years old, still in jail. And you know, I just want to know how, with him, the judges, the prosecutors, how they do that. Now, when Gillespie did come over, he did bring his partner with him, but he didn't come in his house. The partner stayed in the car, you know. And so, what I'm asking you guys, what we gonna do about this? What are we going to do? And what can we do? Because it's not getting any easier. My sons are 40. And I'm 62 years old. When will I be able to see them come home? You know, and this detective gonna take something from me. And then he go out and kill himself, shoot himself, supposedly. And you know, I just don't know. I just know I'm hurting real bad. That I can't hug my twins again. They were my firstborn. And I moved to Wyandotte County thinking it's gonna be a better place to raise my 4 kids. And my sons got taken away from me, you know. I'm just miserable. I'm sorry for crying.
No, don't apologize.
You know.
Thank you. Don't apologize, please. Thank you so much, Ophelia. You know, one of the things about the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department is all the different ways that they've found to inflict this torture and trauma on people. And Saundra and Niko, you guys have sort of an intertwined story. So just for a quick brief background, in 1994, Saundra's only son and Niko's cousin, Doniel Quinn, was shot and killed. And there were witnesses. This happened in broad daylight. One of the witnesses was Niko, who experienced it firsthand. So Saundra lost her only son, and Niko was threatened relentlessly by Golubski and others to point the finger at a man named Lamont McIntyre as the killer. Lamont McIntyre spent the next 23 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. And for nearly 30 years, Niko struggled to get justice for Lamont. And so, Niko, you have been really vocal about how deep the corruption goes in Kansas City, Kansas, because when you read the story, you just read about Golubski, and he obviously was a monster, but he was enabled by a lot of people, a lot of different levels of people. And you have talked about how you spent 30 years kind of running from them. Can you tell us a little bit about who enabled him and what that was like for you?
Who enabled Golubski?
Mm-hmm. Talking that, yeah.
So, I believe that the justice system covered up a lot of
You're allowed to say the prosecutor's name, I checked. Yeah.
Okay, a young lady named Tara Moorhead, she's a monster, I'm sorry. So when my kids, just a short version, when my cousin was killed, right before he was killed, maybe a week, these guys jumped him. They beat him up pretty bad. He came to my mom's house, was sitting on her porch. She told me he was down there, he was beat up. Went down there, was talking to him. He told me what happened. I sent my sister up to ask the people, can we pay whatever they said he owed? A day before, they kept trying to put my cousin in the car, and we kept telling him not to get in the car with him. The last attempt was we were walking down the street. It was all of us, my uncle, my sisters, my cousin, friends. We was all just walking in the pack. We was walking up and down Cornell that day. They pulled up at the corner, tried to get down in the car. My boyfriend at the time, a lot of people were scared of. He went to him like, this ain't what y'all want. Told my cousin to get out the car, told him to quit dealing with him. The next day, I had a dream. My cousin came in after the dream, and he kissed me on his forehead. He had been singing, been coming in all night, and said, cuz, I'm about to get my life together. I'm about to go into rehab. I'm about to take this money. He counted some money, said he's gonna take it to his son. Kissed me on his forehead, walked out the door. I was going up to my mother's house to call my boyfriend to have him buy some milk. I seen this guy coming across the field, walked up to a blue car, shot into the car. He been down and said something, he shot. And I said, oh my God, whoever that is, let me turn around. I started turning around. My sister jumped out, came out the house and was jumping, holding her head. Oh my God, it's little Don. And she said, oh my God, it's little Don. I lost all life in my body. This was my best friend. He was everything to me. He was a brother from another mother. I mean, when I was going through what I was going through as a kid, hurting or whatever, I don't know if anybody ever had a cousin or friend like that they always there. Do your deepest, darkest secrets. He was gone. We went to the car, was trying to ask him who did it. I'm looking at him, and he's trying to talk and took his last breath. My mama put her hand on him and prayed and told us he was gone. That was the worst day of my life. That's when my tragedy began. I met Roger Golubski that day. I have seen him, didn't know who he was. He raped my sister in 1985 when she was coming home from school. That's the only time I heard of that name. After that, he would come to my house, asking me about the pictures, and told me to put Lamont, coerced me to say that Lamont was the person that did it. When he showed me the pictures, I said, I don't see nobody in the pictures. They said, well, what name did the neighbor say? And I said, she said Lamont. And he was like, Lamont who? I said, Lamont Drain. So he had a picture with Lamont's name, with Lamont at the time it was a Polaroid picture, but he showed the picture and you could see the name in the back of the picture. From that day on, I'm just giving y'all the short version. From that day on, this man followed me They came to that. I went to him asking him to help me move because these guys were knocking on my door. I go out there, they're not there. They kept taunting me. They ended up moving me down on 5th Street, which the people that had something to do with my cousin stayed a block away, ran the neighborhood, so I wasn't safe. I moved. Roger knew where I was. He used to come up, sit on my porch, taunt me, would ask me to meet with him or whatever. We was in the waiting room at the courthouse. He asked me to get on the table and dance for him. Now we inside of a courthouse in a room, waiting to go up and testify. After that, I moved again. He found me. I moved on 29th in the family house. He found me. Used to sit on my porch, come on my house. I go in the store at night, he in the store, wherever I went. I end up leaving Kansas City, Kansas, moving to Missouri. I come out of my duplex. He parked on the side of my duplex and he told me, I don't care where you move to, I'ma always find you. You can't never get away from me. My sister was killed in 2000. Roger came to me. I was sitting in the driveway drinking. I was a victim as well. He raped me that day, and I didn't remember anything. He told me he was gonna kill me, kill my kids. I couldn't tell nobody about my story because my kids were still living in KCK. What do we do about things like this to stop this? Because we're not the only victims. It's several women that have been through this. And that's the only reason why I came out, because I have friends. I have women that I seen they last encounter with me. They walk off my porch, get in the car with him. The next day or two, they found dead. They found dead. When he killed himself, the day before he killed himself, I couldn't sleep or nothing. People have to understand, when a person have questions and we need answers, and we don't get the answers. When he killed himself, I felt empty. I felt empty. I went back to the day when he left me in the backseat of my car bleeding. Okay? So what do we do? How can we stop this? Because we have kids and grandkids out here. What can we do? We need help. And when I talk to people about it, oh, that was going on in that little city. Yeah, that's where it's going to go on there, because they think people like y'all don't care. But we need to start showing people that we care about everybody.
Thank you all. Saundra, I know it's hard. I want to talk to you. Doniel, who we were just talking about, who was shot and killed, was Saundra's son. And I remember that when we talked for the first time a few months ago, you said that people kept promising you justice, but that you never got justice, and that maybe justice was not possible. So I thought you could talk about what it's been like to try to navigate this tragedy of losing your child with the police department and a law enforcement system in a city, in a county, in a state that doesn't seem to care.
It's hard to be a mother. There were many times, well, I have to go from the beginning, because every April 15th, I'm reminded. Every tax day, I'm reminded. I had just went to pay my taxes, and I come home. I pull up in my driveway, and this lady pulls up. Unfortunately, it was my sister. And she had a look on her face that I'd never seen before, and she was on drugs at the time. She asked me, how was my day going? She then said, says, how's your day going? And she's smiling at me. And she said, let's go in the house. And I said, Bev, I'm not going in. She said, well, I just want to tell you your son's dead. I think I fainted because when I woke up, that everybody was here. Everybody was at the house. While we were there, somebody from the city morgue called and said we had to come down and identify the body. I knew that couldn't be me. So I asked my dad, would he go for me and my husband? When my dad came back, I'd never seen my dad cry the way he cried. I think he cried harder than I did because it was one of his first grandsons. So when we talk about justice, that same week, 8 mothers buried 8 sons. The mortician said, it'll be a while because we don't have enough time to get this done. When I first met Roger Golubski, my guy friend told me that we could take on City Hall. So I said, what do I need to do? He said, go up to City Hall and ask for a meeting. So I did that. And I walked up to because I'd seen the night before where a mother in Overland Park, which is like the neighborhood for, anyway. And so I said to them, while they were having their meeting, they finished it, and I said, well, I have a question. Why is it that a mother in Wyandotte County doesn't have the same rights as a mother in Johnson County? And they said, well, this is not the place to have that discussion. Okay. So then they said, well, come to the office. I walk in the office a couple of weeks later, and there were 12 men sitting at the table. Roger Golubski was one of them. So the chief of police says to me, Mr. Newsom, where is it that you live that you felt like you should have been told? I said, I live on 24th Street. So he immediately says, well, is that 24th and Quinn, which is a predominantly black neighborhood? I said, no, I didn't say I lived on 24th and Quinn. He says, well, where is it that you live? In the meantime, the mayor is sitting there twiddling with this pencil. The moment I said the neighborhood I lived in, he broke that pencil because he knew that the area that I lived in was prestigious at the time. I'm looking over here to my right. Roger is sitting on the right. The next thing I know, it's Friday evening a couple of weeks later. Roger comes to my house. He says, comes up on the porch. I'm sitting outside talking, crying and talking to God. And he says, Miss Newsom, I'm Roger Golubski. And I just want to let you know, I'm going to be handling the case. I said, okay. He said, we just wanted to let you know we have a suspect. I said, okay. He said, well, I'll be getting back to you and letting you know when we are getting ready to go to trial. I said, okay. Then he says, what is a pretty lady like you doing sitting at home on a Friday night? You ever thought about dating a police officer, a white police officer? Now, I just told you I'm sitting here crying and talking to God. How disgusting.
I haven't put my son in the ground 2 weeks yet, and here you are. So I said, no, thank you, no. Hell no. He left. I didn't see him anymore. Unbeknownst to me, that night, I find out he had already arrested someone. So that was just a ruse. So when you ask me about how they failed me, that was the only time that anybody from the community came to speak with me. It's been 32 years. I've not seen anyone. They didn't even let me have my son's things. I've seen no one, I've heard from no one. And they still have not convicted anyone. Final point. My son had a son, 32 this year. Roger was tracking my grandson and following him because the day we were supposed to go to court, that week, my grandson killed his girlfriend and a baby. So he got 50 years. So Roger just didn't bother me. He was instrumental in me losing my grandson and my grandbaby, my great-grandbaby. And yet still nothing. No charges, no nothing.
Thank you all so much for being willing to share this with the room, because I know it's incredibly, incredibly difficult. I want to ask all of you a question, and you can all answer and talk. But I think the sheer amount of time we're talking about is hard for people to imagine. They think something happened, and you move on. The thing about what happened in Kansas City is that you could never move on and you could never move past it. It's constant. It's happening now, right? And so I would just love to hear you all talk about dealing with this level of kind of grief and navigating this over these years, because you never get, not only do you not get justice, you don't get closure, right? And what happened in December was just one more layer of that. I'm thinking too about being promised by the mayor that he was going to help out, being promised that there's going to be, a conviction integrity unit, and there's going to be an investigation, and there's going to be a lawsuit, and every time these institutions have failed you.
Well, as for me, I just feel they were blowing smoke up, or I don't want to say it, but they were just trying to pacify us, just to keep us quiet, just to give us a little something, just to shut us up. So once he so-called left this earth, as they say, they dismissed everything within an hour. His slate was wiped clean. Mm-hmm. And so I guess after they shut him up, they shut us up. They think. That's why we're here now. Because thank you. As they say, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And for 30 years, we were scared to come out because he has threatened to take our lives, take our brothers' lives. And at one time I was very scared. I was scared to talk. I'm not scared anymore, because one thing's for sure and two for certain, we all got to leave this earth. And I'm just not going to stand by and be quiet anymore. When is the days that there would be no more Trayvon Martins, no more Sandra Bland's, no more Mike Browns, no more anyone has to die by officer? We pay their salary. They are supposed to be here to protect and serve, not harm. So we need to start sticking up in your state and any state. They need to hire people who came to do the job. They are paid to do a job. They're not paid to take your son's life, my son's life. That's not their job. If you feel someone is doing something wrong, lock them up and let a jury decide if they're wrong. It's not up to you to take anyone's life. That's not what you're hired for. Cops go to a shooting range. They know how to shoot. Why every time they shoot you, they have to shoot to kill? Exactly. They don't have to kill you. They could tase you. They can detain you if that's what they choose to do. But no, because you are black and brown, they would rather take your life and go home and go to sleep. No, that's not fair. And as I say all the time, no justice, no peace. We all need justice. Because in this room, I'm sure some of y'all know someone that something has happened to them by a cop, or someone that was sent here to protect. And we need to stand up as a unit and as a people. And when are we going to be tired? When is enough? And I say today, enough is enough. And I'm never going to be quiet until the day they put me in this ground. I'm not going to be quiet.
I'm just gonna say, piggybacking off of her, I've been going to this for 30, 40 plus years with this man. And not just him, just the system in a whole. And I'm tired of everybody talking about they protected. When are we gonna be protected? Because it's like we out here and we going through all this. Do they not know that this causes mental harm? Not just to me, but to my family. That's a domino effect. When you take one person, it's subject to take a whole lot of people, because some people cannot survive without that other people. Like I was saying not too long ago, we have children out there, and we have cousins, nieces, nephews out there, and grandchildren. When you take that parent unit out of the house, and there's nothing done, what you think them kids gonna do? Hurt people. They hurt people. So when is it gonna stop? Like she said, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for something. I'm not falling for the okie doke no more. I'm not. And it's not, I don't want it to be just us. What is justice? Is it just us that out here to fight the justice for ourselves? Where's the people? These people supposed to be the government. They supposed to help us, and they're not. They harming us. When I was hearing all this stuff about Galuski, I said, yeah, he's protecting our right, but he's serving himself, because look what he's doing to us. And they wouldn't believe us because we are black women. Had it been another, and I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm just gonna tell the truth. Had it been a black officer doing this to white women, do you think we'd be sitting here? No, because they would have came up there, them KKK, whatever, would have tied him to the back of the car and dragged him up and down Quinn to make an example. So what's so different about him? Because of his skin color? He's human just like anybody else. Just like he supposedly took himself. He didn't. It was too much he knew. It was too many people's hands involved. But we just need help, and that's what we come from little bitty old Kansas City, Kansas, the dot, Wyandotte County, asking for y'all help. Please help us in any way that y'all can. Thank you.
I stayed in labor with Don for 12 hours. When he was born, he was like a gift. And in 30 years, I've not been able to put a stone on his grave because nothing is completed. And until I can find where that piece is, I don't know what justice looks like. I just know it's just me right this moment. And to lose a grandson to prison for 50 years, to lose a grandbaby that I never got to kiss because he was tormented by this man. And nobody seems to understand. This road is very hard. There's times I've been in the shopping mall or the grocery store and I'll hear somebody say, hey, Mom, and my head snaps. Because it's voice, I just miss the voice. I miss the hugs. Those things can't be given back to me. So all I want you to do now is support us so that we can find that peace and I can bury my son and put a stone on his casket. That's it. Because I can't have him back. So help me put a stone on his grave.
So I was going to end by asking you all what it's meant to have this community of women in the past 5 years, about maybe 10. More voices have been coming out. And there is a community of women who have experienced similar things, if not the exact same. So if you guys want to answer that, you can. But I'll ask you another question too, because I think it's helpful for people to understand how they can be helpful to you. What can they do to support you? We already talked about sharing this story, because the more people who know about it, the more likelihood it is that Kansas City has to do something. But beyond that, how can people here best support you?
One of the things is just getting the story out, letting people know what's going on in our community to stop it from even happening in your community. Because it's not over until we stand up and we all come together and try to fix it. How are we gonna fix it? We all need to come up together collectively and try to figure something out. We have to. It's just us 4. We're 5. But we can fight, we fight in numbers. So that's what we're asking, is to just share our story and get it out there to make people aware of what's going on in the KCK area. Thank you.
Somebody else want to talk about? You can talk about how best to support. Does anybody else want to talk?
Yeah, I can talk. Going on what Niko just said. My 14-year-old sons, they got convicted of the hard 50 and another 50. One took the plea, he got 25 and another 25. And sorry, how the hell you gonna send some kids to jail at the age of 14? No adult over 18 could lose me, wouldn't let me go down. When I did go down, they already had signed their life away. For real, I am so tore up. In 2017, I guess I couldn't take it no more. So I had a massive heart attack. I was dead. But God said, no, you're not gonna die until we see something happen with Wyandotte County Police Department, because I don't know how you gonna have 14-year-olds sign their life away. They haven't even had a kiss from a girl. They haven't even had sex. Now what kind of world I live in that can do that to my sons? And while they in jail, he's back at my house raping me. Okay, number one, they should change that law about 14-year-olds making a statement and signing it without a dope or a lawyer there. Now, that's some BS, you know. So really, he really messed my life up. And I don't know what else to say.
So we have about just a couple more minutes, but I know this is a lot, so everybody doesn't have to talk. But if anybody has any closing thoughts, I'll give you each about a minute to share them. And I know, Michelle, you wanted to talk a little bit about the statute of limitations. Just every single legal obstacle that they can, the city, the state, the police department has thrown in front of these women. They've gone out of their way to avoid any accountability on every level. And this is part of it.
Well, I just want to talk about how they were able to bring charges up on him for the crimes that he committed. But this is our lawyer down there, Quinn, and so we had a civil lawsuit against the police department and other detectives and other police chiefs. One of the guys right now, his name is Ron Miller, and he is the U.S. Marshal, and he was one of the people that was on our lawsuit. So they said that for his crimes that he did against us, the statute of limitation had ran out. So how is it that you can be brought up on charges, but for what you did to us, the statute of limitation has ran out? But every last one of us up here were threatened and scared of this man. This man was like the Grim Reaper, and that's what they called him on the streets. And we all were threatened to get our lives taken. And it was hard for each and every one of us to come out. It took the FBI continuously talking to us to get us to come forward. I know it took me a long time to come forward. I did my first story in silhouette because I was so scared to come forward. And miraculously, the crazy thing is I did everything not to be up on this stage because I was scared. And someone released my name to the general public. And I got put out there. And I did everything not to have my name out there. And the reporter from CNN went all over Kansas City, Kansas, trying to find me. And I wanted to know, where did he get my name from? Where did they get my name? So we wasn't even protected when we were told that we were going to be. They still threw us out there to the wolves. And that's how I ended up coming forward. I didn't come on my own accord. I was pushed out there. So after I got pushed out there, then they kicked me back because nothing has been done for any of us up here.
I never stopped talking. I never stopped talking from the day that Terry Moorhead threatened to throw me in jail and take my children if I didn't put Lamont in jail. When I walked off the stage, off the bench, I told my family what she did. She made me lie. They made me lie. They told me they would throw me in jail and they'll take my kids from me. Let me rephrase that. Can I say it? She said she'd throw my black ass in jail and I'd never see my kids. On that stand, I kept feeling something say, tell the truth, say it. And I know it was the Holy Spirit because I'm a very spiritual person. But I thought about it and I said, what I want to try to get explained to Lamont, why I did what I did, or what I would have to explain to 4 children, why their mama didn't protect them. So how can we stop this from happening to people? I would never stop talking. I never told my exact story, but I told about the other women that I know that I last seen with him because my kids are still in KCK. he was alive, I knew that they wouldn't protect me because he always told me that he would follow me or he would find me. So I spent 30 years running. 30 years running. When can I stop? When can you show me that there's some truth that y'all gonna protect me? My daughter told me the other day and she was crying. She said, Mama, this man haunted you in life. Don't let him haunt you while he in death.
I don't think I know which way to go now. Because when it happened, nobody came to me with an outcry, not just for my son, but 8 mothers in 1 week. 8 mothers cried. So I don't know what justice looks like because I've never tasted it, I've never seen it, I haven't felt it. So I don't know where we go from here. I don't know who to trust anymore because to me, back in the day, you gave your word, and your word was bond. I've had so many words that I can't look at anybody hardly anymore and say, I believe you. Because I keep crying, and I keep crying about the same thing over and over again. God gives us children for a reason. We're supposed to protect them. We raise them, and the streets and the cops take them. So I don't know what that looks like anymore. I don't even know where to turn to say, this is what justice looks like. Because you're looking at 4 women who have not received it. So where do we find it? The only thing I could say is we need to look at each other and say, would you trade places with me? Would you trade places with me? I don't think very many people would. And I don't need sympathy because I can't do anything with it. I need your help to bring this thing to an end. That's what we need, help. And it's by any means necessary.
Ophelia, I'm going to let you close us out if you want to give closing thoughts. Do you want to?
Well, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I'm really off kilter every day. I don't walk straight. I walk sideways. I can't help it. I walked around for years as my name O.W. because I was scared. So having people talk for me. One day in front of the federal building, I went to one of a news conference or something, because I went to every one of them. I decided to come out and tell everybody what happened to me. Who is O.W.? I feel should no woman go to what we go through with a man just feel he can just take whatever he want from us. Oh hell, it ain't nothing gonna happen. Like I said, that criminal justice, them laws they have in Wyandotte County, well, I'm not gonna say what the laws that the white man have in Wyandotte County should be changed. Like, white people go out and do stuff. They take them to McDonald's, get them something to eat. They give black kids cigarettes instead of food to eat. We got to change that. We got to make them change that law. We got to have them to be easier on black people because we are human too.
I want to thank you all again for sharing with this room. It's so generous, and it is, I know, incredibly tough. And I'm just very grateful that you all joined us today, and thank you for sharing with everybody. And I hope you all take that takeaway away. That didn't make total sense, but because it is really true that people don't think about places like Kansas City, Kansas, or these small towns as having these problems, and they have these problems almost, more, because people give them less attention. So I'm glad that we can be here in New York to tell the story about Kansas City, Kansas, and I hope we can keep talking about it. So thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you.